Live, baby, and now we're live. See, when that little green light goes on, that means we're live. Hello, welcome to Infinite Roleplay. You know where you are because you're here, and you know who I am because this is my stuff. So, House of the Sun, Part 2. Last game, we left off with Sister Helga, Maiden of the Hammer, casting warding prayers around the house of this old man that had shown them some hospitality, the only one to show them hospitality in this brand new town. However, the warding magics didn't seem to work, whether by loss of faith or some odd happenstance. A sanctuary couldn't have been made. So, in their caution, both Sister Helga and Roland of the Thorn agreed to rest in shifts and keep watch. As Roland slept, Helga disappeared. For reasons unknown, Roland woke up alone in this house. Searching for Helga, he managed to find a member of his previous party, a member that was separated from the party when attacked by the beast of the woods. He found his elven friend, Teletheril. Teletheril, when you were separated from the party, please tell us how you managed to get through the woods to this town.
Well, since I am learned in creatures unusual, I started to kind of probe around looking for creatures that I could speak with, that were intelligent, and were not necessarily evil, per se, and started to literally wander from group to group until they could direct me the proper way through the woods. And fortunately, I managed to find a group of centaurs who happened to be more than friendly and wanted me out of their space. So they managed to guide me back through the woods to where I needed to be.
So you found a group of centaurs that led you through the woods.
Yep.
And how did you, Roland, in what state did you find Teletheril?
In what state?
Yeah.
Well, his clothing was a little bit, not of in the same state as it was, and he was a bit like, like that he didn't eat for a while and not drink for a while, but he wasn't like completely thin. Like, so, I saw that he was able to take care of himself, but I can see that he was happy to be back in civilization, obviously. Some form of civilization.
So in this town, of course, Teletheril is drawing eyes, the same as Sister Helga was. Hushed tones and whispers, glances that stick to you far too long to be any sort of nice. They're just staring at Teletheril, and they're now weighing their glances on you more often. Hushed tones. Do you see that? Is that an elf? Fuck yeah. As Brother Roland seems to have odd company with him at all times. What would you gentlemen like to do in Winterfell?
Well, I'm waving in Teletheril into the house because I'm just waving him in for now, so we already pretty much the center of attention, but we don't too much. If we can avoid a little bit less attention, let's try that. It's kind of my deal.
This is true. So I'm going to actually walk into the house and see if we can stop the glaring and communique going on around us, because he's not real familiar with this type of disdain.
Well, it's kind of like where I want to give Teletheril an update on what's up what's going on. So
So
He just
by
doesn't
the
like being talked about.
by the time you make it back to Oswald's house, you can see that from outside the house, you see the smoke coming out of the chimney.
okay, so I like give him whatever food and drink is there if he needs any. I'm like if I ask Therafellow if you need to clean yourself up, I show him where there's the like the well for water and stuff where he can get some water and clean himself up.
All right, so you guys head back inside the home.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
By the hearth, you see Oswald.
Yeah. I show him everything. I tell him that okay, I'm just gonna role play this out. So I know you've been gone for a while. I'm just gonna bring you up to speed. We're searching for this artifact, this sword to fight the undead horde, and we ran into this this rumored sun cult, and they're kind of heretical. They don't follow any of the gods of the Pantheon, Isgram or Zathra. I already asked them, and obviously not Amos. So they literally worship the sun itself, and it smells very heretical to me. And the one guy we talked to, I believe he's some form of, he's not what he's supposed to be. I'm thinking,
Can I pause
Yeah.
you for a second? Remember,
Pause
I said
me.
Oswald is in the house when you get there, by the hearth.
Oh, Oswald is there, of course.
Um,
Well, can I retcon what I said? Sorry. A
I'm.
little bit.
This is why I'm reminding you.
I'm just taking one retcon. I'm sorry. Okay, hey Oswald, how are you doing?
Hey, Nelson,
What's up?
for you. The Bard has a port in the storm. Basically, if I come back to a location I've been at before, you can tell me basically however it's changed since I've been here last.
You've never been to this town before.
Okay, I thought we had been to Winterfell because it said we're coming back to Winterfell.
No, you're coming back to the house. The house onto Oswald's house in Winterfell.
Yeah, which means I had to have been here before. I've been back to the house.
Not you.
Okay.
Roland.
Okay. Okay. There we go. Clear my confusion up on that. Make sure that
Roland
didn't.
spent the night in the house,
Okay.
sleeping on a warm, bed,
Well,
as it were, while you were being dragged through the woods by centaurs.
Okay. Good. Just making sure I've got all that clear.
All right. So so as you greet Oswald, he turns, he grabs his bucket of slop that he was, cooking up for breakfast, and just plops it on the table very unsurreptitiously, stares at Teletherol, and just.
Obviously, you don't approve of him, but he's a good friend of mine. I know he looks a little bit weird.
So she's
So good.
become taller, thinner, and a man.
Helga, I don't know where Helga has been. I'm sure she returned. This is Jesus Christ.
Just call him Tella, man. Just call him Tella.
Teletherol, the Elvish Bard. He is a man of stories, man of music, man of the arts, and more to it too.
As everybody's we're kind of settling in, I'm gonna reach around onto my gear. I'm gonna pull off a loot, and it's actually a fairly nice looking loot. And I'm gonna start cleaning the dirt and grime off of it where I've fallen down a couple of times and stumbling through the woods. Like there's grass and leaves and stuff wedged onto the strings, and actually doing a fine cleaning job of this.
Yes, I see the weak and unworthy find their uses. And he starts ladling slop into bowls for you guys.
I'm gonna give it a sniff and kind of grimace at it as I kind of poke at it with a fork or spoon or whatever the heck we're eating with.
He doesn't give you any utensils. He just hands you a bowl.
Yeah, even better. I poke at it with my finger.
I start just eating it like I hold it up and I eat it like with my hands. I guess this is the local custom here. No eating utensils.
The old man sits down and ladles some slop into a bowl for himself and does the same. Just without much table manners at all.
Nice. So you guys, the highly sophisticated, prissy-looking elf is going to slowly eat and show some level of manners as he actually pulls out, as part of his adventuring gear, he pulls out a small knife that he uses to cut rope and actually uses it to eat off the edge of it.
All right. You know your adventuring gear has limited uses, right?
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
It's only 30 uses.
So you would use it for a knife and keep that knife. That knife is now part of your equipment.
Yeah.
But you mark off one of your uses.
Yeah, I gotta find my uses. Yes.
All
Let
right.
me double check how many uses I get to buy.
I mean, you could pull out. You could pull out. I mean, that's a use of that. So you
Yeah, I
pull
was just
out
trying to see how many
a set
uses
of
I have.
flatware. You know, knife,
That's fine.
fork, spoon,
Now I got 4 uses left, so.
a little handkerchief to lay them all on.
Exactly. So I go full out prissy on you guys.
So I look at Terrathero, and I'm just like, well, we don't know each other for that long, but sorry I have to do this, but I have to do this. This is something that's been going on for a while. So I basically literally say, I take out my sword and my shield, and I said, well, your entire village here has been heretical, including you. And I don't think who you are, I don't think who you say you are. And I'm sick and tired of your bullshit, quite frankly. So,
He's still just slopping away. He doesn't stop until he's finished with his bowl.
I take my bowl and I slop it. Better yet, I take my bowl and I slop it in his face, and I pull my sword, and I hold my shield, and then I say, "Are you gonna pay fucking attention to me now?"
You're holding your bent shield?
I'm holding my shield. I picked it up.
All right, so he gets up.
My bent shield. Yep.
He gets up. He's sort of wiping his face, squeezing whatever got absorbed into his beard out. Looks at you.
Pretend I don't see any of this.
Yeah. He's like locking eyes with you. Then he stares at your bent shield and sort of like tilts his entire body, not just his head, over. Are you actually wearing your damaged armor, or are you unarmored?
I'm wearing my armor. I'm a knight.
So he tilts over and looks at this, at the area of your armor that's like all ripped apart, and the rips on the cloth for your clothing underneath. The scales are still at some point dangling.
All I'm saying, try it, fucker, please. I'm actually a man of manners, but any heretical pagan fuck ass, I will go down to that level. I will burn the shit out of you.
So
because I will respect the freaking goblins who worship at least some form of the deity of the Pantheons. I will respect them in battle, but I don't respect some kind of stupid scumfucks, hillbilly scumfucks, who worship the sun.
So, like I said, he tilts over, and now he's staring at your damaged armor. Comes back to lock eyes with you again. You know, I've been told you're worthy, but worthy of knowledge.
You are not worthy, and I slam my sword into his face.
Oh, okay. Roll your hack and slash.
Yep, that's what I do, because he's not worthy of any kind of chivalric deed, because he's a little heretic scumfuck. And I've been holding myself back, especially for Helga. But Helga isn't here to hold me back anymore, so
don't hold me back.
I'm going Warhammer 40k Inquisition Catholic style. So 6. And I +1, that's 7.
Oh, you get a +1?
Well, I got
Okay.
strength 15.
Oh, that's beautiful. So you do manage to strike him.
In his face as he's trying to continue his rhetoric.
All right. As a matter of fact, because this is at cost, right? You strike him in his face, but the area of his face you strike him in is actually your blade lands here, and he catches your blade in his teeth.
Okay.
Like
Can I try to do an action as my blade is in his teeth?
Well, the cost is that he catches the blade in his teeth, but roll your damage so I know how much damage you do.
Okay. My damage is D10 plus 1. 1 second here. Oh, I didn't take my D10s out. What I'm doing now.
I get my dice.
Because I'm not going to try to tiptoe and etiquette my way out of this shit, because I'm sick and tired of this entire fake bullshit. Because obviously they want our skin or something. So, and I'm a paladin, and I'm going to smite shit. So, 8 plus 1, that's 9 damage.
Because I'm super sexy, I had to go get my dice tray.
And that's the thing is, that's why I apologize to Teletherel, so I'm putting him in a situation that has been building up since the last game.
So he catches, like, you swing his sword, he tilts it, he catches it in his mouth, and the blade slips a bit. So you see it actually starting to cut away.
I'm pushing into his mouth. That's what I'm doing. I'm
Yeah,
pushing into his
it's
mouth.
sliding a bit as it's doing so. However, I'm really curious to see if in this moment of surprise, moment of insanity, Teletherel, what are you doing?
Well, I'm gonna, now that I've kind of finished my meal, I'm gonna do the smart thing here. And let's see, how do I want to do this? While
The thing
he's
is that-
trying to, like, okay, I'm gonna try a speak frankly action there, which I believe is a plus charisma roll, right?
All right.
And what it does is I can ask them pretty much any question if I succeed and find out all kinds of fun information. So I'm going to try to see if I can figure out who he actually is aligned with and see if the psychotic barbarian-esque lunatic paladin is...
You can speak frankly, but he's got a sword in his mouth, and the
Yeah,
sword is
but-
from your ally.
The sword's
What is your charisma? That is my question.
plus 2.
Oh, me too.
So, oh, crap. I rolled a 5 total. I failed.
I would like to do a counter roll anyway, if I'm allowed. I want to do. I am the law.
Hold up, wait a minute. Teletherel fails, but I want to know. I don't want to know what action you're doing, as much as I want to know what your character is doing. For one.
Okay, well, that's what I was trying to describe my action. I'll tell you what I was doing. I wanted to see if I failed or succeeded. So, in a very unintimidating manner, in like a very quiet manner, I demand to know who he actually serves, what god he actually serves, and as I do that, I'm stumbling over my words, and I'm tongue-tied, and you can see I'm visibly shaken by the actions that this paladin is taking.
All right, so one is whenever you fail a roll, when you get a 6 or lower, you can mark off a point of experience. And secondly, I would prefer if you actually role-played in character.
I can't. I've always done third person.
All right. So there's that, and the fact you're quietly I demand how to you must crap. I'm imagining Teletherel speaking in that fashion. As
Yep.
This old man with all this gray and
Okay.
red.
Can I roll? Yeah. Can I just role play out? I'm like, I am the goddamn law. I am given it to by the God Lord of Amos, one of the great mighty Fanteon. I am the servant of justice and of the light.
Okay.
Oh, chilling.
So you're saying this as your sword is stuck in the guy's
And
mouth.
this man is a heretic, and he's probably not even human.
So the old man, right? even though you're cutting into his mouth and your sword is about this far deep, halfway to the back of his jaw, you actually see him gritting his teeth even more, the blood pouring out of his own, from what's left of his lips and now the slices on his sides.
Can I do a strength check to slice through his head?
I'll tell you what. You can do a strength check to see if you can get your sword back.
I don't want to get my sword back. I want to get it back when I push it through his goddamn head. That's what I want to do.
I mean, you can try. I don't know if it's going through his head.
That's the thing, Kyle. This thing has been building up since the last session.
No,
because this guy has been a fucking of course, for your character, you know what you think I'm psychotic, of course, obviously.
Well, of course.
I have a question though. Your sword, does it have the messy tag?
No, it has it's a long sword, close, +1 damage, and
so
1 weight.
Without the messy tag, it probably wouldn't go through his head. But remember, you have to describe what you're doing, and then I just say what move it is. So you can do your strength check. You can try to push deeper.
Okay, then I push the other side. If I cannot push then I push through his teeth.
Yeah, you're trying to push through his teeth.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do then. I'm gonna push in one direction or the other, whatever gives.
All right, cool. So roll me a defy danger with strength.
Okay, defy danger. I'm just gonna roll strength. That's a +1 for me. Got a 2. I got a 1. That's 3 and a 4.
Okay, so mark off a point of experience as you see him bite through your sword and actually shatter it from where his mouth was.
Okay, is it completely shattered? Can I still use it as a short sword or a dagger, or is it
yeah, you could probably use it like a dagger. It's shattered halfway through.
Good. Okay, so I can still shank the bitch. So
yeah, he shatters. He bites through your blade. It shatters, and then he starts spitting out the metal. From his mouth.
I'm looking at my sword right now. Like, what the fuck, man? This is a steel sword here.
And he stops to just look at you, and he's like,
"Hey, Nelson."
Yeah.
Can I make a Bardic lore here, called Bardic lore here, on a creature that can bite through fucking metal? Since my Bardic lore is a best area of creatures unusual.
I guess.
I can ask any one question. You have to answer it truthfully. So
first you have to roll. At least
Yep.
It's. I feel saddened that instead of saying things like Teleferal searches through his mind and the library of songs in his, that he has stored between his ears, between his large pointy ears, to see if he could ever have heard the story of a
second to do that. I do that. I just need to make sure that I'm in firm ground to do it. And I don't make a roll for this. I make a call, and then I ask you a question. You have to answer it truthfully. So
you don't make a roll?
Just I get to ask you one question. You have to answer truthfully about the creature. Would this be something that maybe an ogre would be capable of?
An ogre biting through a sword? Mm-hmm. Yeah, quite possibly.
Okay.
It does sound like an ogre, yeah.
A large and powerful ogre probably would be able to bite through a paltry little longsword.
So
an ogre has
now let me describe what's going on in my head. As I'm watching this guy bite through this sword, first off, my eyes go about, Tell's eyes go about as big around as saucers. And he has, his face goes pale white. And he immediately, his first reaction is to reach for his short sword. But immediately he begins to think of how that is a bad idea as his brain begins to rack that it is very possible that this thing sitting across from him could possibly be an ogre, and that might be a bad thing. And if somebody needs to die for attacking the ogre, it needs to be the guy with his sword that was just recently in its mouth. Not the poor guy that hasn't done anything wrong.
Ow.
Oh, so I... Of course.
So the old man, Oswald, after spitting out the fragments of your sword that was left in his mouth, with difficulty, now that he has such a gash, sit down. before you piss me off.
And I just say, you're not human, are you?
I told you. Sit down.
Who are you to challenge me?
Tell at that points out somebody much stronger than you. As he quietly sits down.
Shut up! Shut up, fop! Shut up, fop! That's all I'm gonna say.
Do we get bonus experience for having an excuse to use the word fop in a game?
No. So, refusing to sit down, Oswald simply answers,
I'm just pointing the rest of my... Who are you to command me? I've been given the powers by the Pantheon, by the gods themselves, by the king and the grand priest.
He laughs. I can't really laugh too well because it hurts, but
Okay.
Oswald
He's
laughs and
laughing,
starts, he coughs up a little bit of his blood from, his wound, spits it to the side. You serve gods that would allow you to have your weapon destroyed, your armor destroyed, and the shield.
My weapon
you would
is my
protect
faith.
yourself.
My weapon is my faith. Even if you destroy this body, others will come and destroy you, and my soul will haunt you in your dreams forever. Believe it. Paladins return as vengeful angels who will destroy you, you little heretic fuck.
That's you're talking shit right now. Let's see.
Who are you to tell me? You have been giving me all these things about worshiping the sun and everything. People have been tortured and killed for less.
You do realize this is all going into Tella's head so he can make a song of this depending on how it ends?
Yeah, Oswald begins, he nods. He's rubbing the blood, trying to wipe it off. Staring at it. He shakes his head, and he starts walking away from you. He actually turns his back on you.
I'm standing there.
Okay, if none of you are going to react.
I'm not going to react in this moment. I'm going to wait for him to do something.
He turns his back, he's rifling around in some cabinets, and he seems to be grabbing herbs and whatnot. And he grabs another pot for the hearth. And he walks out. He begins to walk towards the exit of his house. You don't stop him, he'll leave. And in a few minutes, he returns with water in his bucket, the herbs sitting in there, and he just puts it on the fire.
What is the meaning of this? I have just attacked you and your heretical demon cult.
I'm a servant of the sun. He takes a seat. He takes a seat at the table. And as a servant of the sun, you live.
I'm no servant of no sun, except if you're talking about Zathra, the goddess of the sun, who brings the light every morning with her wagon.
The sun does not wish you dead. He wishes you to live. Your gods can't stop him.
What are you talking about?
So, it sounds, well, you can't really negotiate with the dude since you shoved a sword in his face.
I don't want to negotiate with him. I'm a paladin.
Oh, so you're just like trying to continually
I'm at the point where I'm just my character's just curious. That's the problem with paladins. They don't like, at least this paladin. He doesn't accept the entire idea that he is not following the main religion.
Yeah, he sits down, just says, you know, as a servant of the sun, you live. You live and die by his will.
I'm no servant of the sun.
Maybe that's why you're in such a state. And he looks you up and down, examining all your damaged gear.
Okay, I'm looking at him and like, what are you? Tell me now. You're not human.
As I said,
No human could have survived the strike that I've done.
I
No
am
human can.
a servant. I serve as you.
Well, then you'll die as a servant, and I'll stab him again because I'm
Okay.
sick and tired of his bullshit.
And Telesterol's just calmly sitting down, watching all of this unfold.
Yes, he is. I mean, he's even kind of like right now. He's kind of strumming his lute, trying to see what kind of song music he can put
6 and
this to.
3, that's an 8. I don't know if this the broken sword still counts as a long sword. Do I still get the +1? But I
No,
have an 8.
not with it broken.
Okay, so I have an 8.
So an 8. So you roll your damage, but it comes at a cost.
Okay, I'm gonna roll my damage. 7.
7.
I'm stabbing him into his face.
And you go to stab him in his face. And this time, like, he goes to grab your weapon again with his teeth, but since it was a stab and not a slash, what remains of your blade goes through, and it's just long enough that you can see some of it peering through the hair in the back of his head, the broken bits.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Nelson, while he's doing that, Tella's going to start singing this, like, under his breath, but at the same time he's meaning to weave a spell into this. He's going to start singing a song about Sir Roland, about how brave and strong he is and everything else. And the actual effect I'm going for is we're going for the effect. I'm trying to give him an additional D4 to his damage to this guy.
So you're singing a song?
Yeah, and I actually have to make a charisma roll here to see if I can actually pull it off. So, hang on a second. Yeah, actually, I got a 10, so I pull it off with no complications.
All right, cool. So sing us the song.
I'm not singing. If you want ears to bleed, I will sing.
Well, alright.
All right, so you sing the song.
Slayers of the heretic.
Do you
Sir Roland.
Do you
And
leave
he's
what's
not
left
a
of your
dick.
sword in his mouth, or do you like pull it out?
What I do is like
As the
I want to.
song of glory is being sung about you.
Well, I'm just basically like stabbing him. Like as it goes through, I want to pull it out again before he bites the rest of my sword off, or at this point a dagger, more like that, or short sword.
Yeah. So you pull it out. It's got some resistance because it went through his skull and everything. And he falls forward as you pull it out. And before his face hits the table, his hands come out and stop him. And he just coughing better than I can.
I take his head and I just try to hack through his goddamn neck. Come on, man.
As you go to grab his hair, right? And you raise your hand to hack through his neck.
My shield is still there before you say anything. So it's like this is on the arm here. So
your shield is bent, so it's like almost like a hemisphere on your arm.
That's fine.
You grab his hair, but your hand begins to lift up higher and higher as the old man is getting larger and larger, and is no longer an old man, and you're actually hanging your feet.
I knew it, demon spawn.
Off the floor, and he's a large hairy beast. His hair as black as midnight.
Demon spawn.
And you're hanging there with your face in front of one of his blood-red eyes. And you just hear...
Sun-worshipping demon lord will be slain, if not by my hand, then by the Inquisition of the Pantheon. by Amos, by Amos's hand itself.
So Teletheril, are you still simply calmly sitting and?
Yeah,
No, the moment this demon thing starts spurting up, chair goes backwards, Terra falls on his back, quickly like rolls over, pushes off of the ground, and gets to the nearest corner to duck the fuck away from this thing. There's
you
no
couldn't
way
play
around
like
it.
a wizard or like a cleric or like a fucking barbarian or anything. You had to play a goddamn bard.
Yes, I did. Hey,
So-
we expected more people. You give me a break.
Teletheril like
Fireball or
lunges himself,
magic missile right now would be really good.
lunges
or like
himself
a holy
into a
bolt
corner,
or something.
and the giant beast, this creature, this canine creature, actually starts galloping towards the door. As it's doing so, before it bursts through that wall of this house. Roland, are you doing anything further, or are you just hanging on for the ride?
No. I'm gonna try to pull out my sword dagger thing.
Well, you have it in your hand, remember?
Okay. Then I will try to continue to stab at it.
I have this image in my head of the Futurama episode with the space whale now.
Roll your hack and slash.
Yep, I will. That's a 6 and 4.
Up that's 10.
10. Yep.
You can do your normal damage, or you can be reckless and deal an additional d6. If
I will be reckless. I will
if
be
you, if you do it at
reckless.
cost. All right, cool.
Yeah, I'll do it at cost. And you'll probably fuck me over, but I'm gonna kill that fucking thing. And maybe they're the good guys, but my character, he's been raised really orthodox, so, and he hasn't been faced with such heresy yet, so. I got an 8 and a 1, so total of 9.
And remember, you get an additional d4 from the song.
Yep. The song gives you D4. Yep.
Oh, okay, then I'll roll that. My d4. And I get a 4.
Woo!
So that's a 9, so that's a total of 13, yep.
13.
Can I describe the stab?
Bard, you're in
Yeah, you can describe the stab, and I'll describe what happens afterwards.
I'm trying to like take out the sword as I'm holding out, or like more like a dagger at this point, and I tried to stab it in his right eye at this point from behind, like, and I just say, "Die, heretical creature! The name of the gods, die!
Move, Rock.
Go back to the hell you've been spawned in."
So as this canine creature is actually being stabbed in the eye, he goes to burst through the wall because he's too large to fit through the actual door.
Yeah.
But as he does so, as he comes in contact with the wall, he almost instantly shrinks, and he's the old man again. And the old man is naked now because he transformed.
Yeah, and his clothing got ripped. Yeah.
Yeah, and his clothing is all torn away, and
It's the realistic Hulk effect, and he has
Yeah.
no extra pants, so.
so he actually barrels through the front door of his home, landing a few feet in front of the door as he stumbles, as you're grabbing his hair, and you have sliced away at his eye, and there's a bunch of people outside that were walking by that turn around, oh! And they're just staring at you, standing over this poor naked old man with his blood on your hands.
Poor naked old werewolf, more like it. I'm so poor naked old werewolf. Worships the sun.
They're like, no, how could you? Oswald, no.
He is a lycanthrope, as in the books is written, an unheretical creature. I have saved you all.
They all start
unless-
scattering in panic from you.
Unless I pull out the sword out of the eye. Unless you're one of them too.
They're running even faster. The ones that did stay, the few that did stay, the gawkers that just stood like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm trying to start the gossip up. soon as you say unless you're one of them, they start backing away and running.
I clean the blade off the on the body of the old man, the old poor man, and I'm like saying, it is time to bring the Inquisition to cleanse this place, or at least to find out if there's any more of these lycanthropes here. He might have been the only one, which would have been lucky, but the thing spread like wildfire.
Are you still standing above?
It is just like in the Holy Scrolls of Amos, and the corrupted souls will be tempted by the demon lords to become one of his chosen, one of the many chosen corrupted forms. And then I start a prayer to Amos, because even though I was like very brave, you can see now that I'm like shaking in panic, kind of like an after effect in a sense, and I'm just bowing down and praying, thanking him for the protection he has given me for this creature.
So what kind of shape is this body in, Nelson?
Right now the old man is naked, but the old man his body's he's very muscular, he's ripped, very shapely. He has like long, scraggly hair. He's bleeding profusely out the eye, and as Roland is monologuing, and his monologue becomes a prayer, as you're looking at the old man, you can notice that he's still breathing.
Well, I'm gonna grab a log, a piece of wood, set it into the fire at his hearth, and I'm gonna toss it on that bitch. I'm gonna light him on fire.
Well, I'm gonna before you do that, I'm just says wait, and then I'm gonna decapitate him.
That's fine. Whatever. Hey, we can have both.
All right. As you go to burn him.
Do not think I do this lightly, even though this is a beast.
Well, there's no onlookers anymore. The people scattered.
Yeah, I know. They're afraid of me or whatever. But the thing is, this is still a beast, at least in my character's mind. So I will continue to decapitate him, do a coup d'etat, until he stops moving.
Okay. Do a hack and slash for me. You can get a +1 because he's.
Do I have to do a hack and slash for a coup d'etat? I don't want to like interest out of character. Okay, I'll do it. Just curious.
Yeah, because he's actually not dead and he's about to start moving. He's not helpless.
Well, I rolled a double 6, so that's a 12.
13 because he gives you a +1.
Yeah, and I gave you a +1. So, you can deal your damage.
Can I describe? Then I'll just okay.
Cause he wouldn't be counted as helpless right now.
Okay, I got a 10.
You got a 10?
Yeah.
You want to make it like a reckless sort of, lifting him up.
I'll role play it once, like we're okay. I'll role play it once we're beyond the technicality stuff. Did I finish him? That is my question.
No, you don't manage to actually kill him.
Wow.
What kind of Deadpool am I fighting here? Jesus Christ. Okay, seriously, like this is the kind of shit, but it's fine. So instead, I'm trying to hold his hand, like as he's on the ground, I hold his head up, and I start trying to cut through his throat, basically. And as fast as I can, because, yeah.
As you're doing that, he's softly like laughing.
He's softly laughing.
He's like, you're slicing through his neck. Is Teleferal doing anything? Or is he still just trying to burn him with the log?
Oh no, he's still trying to catch him on fire. I mean, I don't give a shit if the paladin's on him. This thing needs to die, and fire is a cleansing agent.
All right.
Well, since he's laughing, I'm gonna before you throw the fire, I'm gonna go onto the side and let him try to burn him, because he's obviously a beast. So.
Yeah. You step to the side, but he doesn't fall over. like he goes forward for a second and starts to try to lift himself up, and he's struggling to lift himself up. But as he does so,
Son of a bitch.
Teletherl is trying to light him. How are you trying to light him on fire?
Simply, I'm gonna put that fucking hot ass burning log against him until something catches.
All right. Well, roll me a hack and slash.
Oh lord, this is plus strength, isn't it?
Yeah, it's plus strength, but you can have a +1.
Okay, so I'm even on. There you go. I got a 6. Shit.
Okay, so you completely fail, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna hack on him again
Well,
until.
did he get to act? I mean, jeez.
Well, go ahead. I don't know. There's no initiative order, so I'm just gonna say it out loud what I think.
I know. As you're trying to burn him, because I got to resolve that 6 anyway first.
Okay.
As you're trying to burn him, you can mark down a point of experience, Teletherl, right? You're putting the fire. He'll grab the wood from you, right?
Okay.
In between the two of you, if you maintain your grip, he'll lift it in between the two of you, and stare in your eyes. If you would please roll me a defy danger using your wisdom.
Wisdom?
Yeah.
Another even odds here.
Me too.
Woohoo! Another
No, just Teletherl.
Just a 6.
All right.
Kind of another stinking 6. Yay.
Okay, so mark down a point of inspiration. Of experience. And Teletherl drops to his knees. And Teletherl, you see a vision of the Black Gates, which is the entrance to Death's realm. As you fall to your knees. And Roland, you said you wanted to do something, right?
Well, I'm gonna attack him again because obviously he's the fucker who doesn't want to go down. So I'm gonna continue fighting him. And I roll a 4 and a 3. That's 7.
That's 7 total.
7 total, yeah.
Okay, so roll your damage.
Okay. I got a 6.
Total?
6 total. Well, I don't get a bonus because my sword is broken.
Yeah.
It's more like a dagger at this point, or like a short sword at most, I guess.
All right, so you stab at him and he cringes, and he actually drops the flaming piece of wood, and he drops down to a knee for a second. He turns and he looks at you, and says, "By your will, we live." And he actually starts running, and as he does so, you see him start to transform once again. And he just runs off into the distance of the town. He does actually leave he's bleeding all over the place, so he does leave a trail of blood.
Okay. I will sheath the rest of my sword, and I'm going to say I'm going to leave this town. And
what is this vision going to take me to recover from?
Yeah, I just want to hear what Roland says first.
Well, this is the thing, is that I'm going to look at Therathul, what he does, but as soon as he's ready, I want to head out. Because obviously we need more firepower here to deal with this. So we need to get to the Inquisition here.
You understand that it's like weeks of travel to get back to your homeland.
Yeah. It will be a crusade then. We'll start a goddamn crusade. That's what we'll do.
You're starting a crusade. All right. So if you guys, we've got about an hour under the belt. If you want to take a quick break to use the restroom or get any drinks or anything, any drinks or munchies.
Sounds good.
Monkeys sound good.
Take 5.
Knew there's a reason I needed to play this game, Nelson.
Why is that?
Because I suck at the rolls. I'm gonna say.
Hey, we'll put it this way. I mean, the worse you roll, the faster you level up.
Yeah, this is true, but dude, really, I'm like 6. What the fuck is up with 6? I need 7. Damn it. It doesn't help that I keep having to roll shit. I don't have bonuses in, or I have a penalty in.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It is, but you know, it's what it is. I can't believe he wants to turn this into a crusade.
I'm not worried about that. I already think he's a psychopath. So my impression from the songs I learned of him are like, I'm like, songs, reality.
Yeah, that Bond is.
I'm kind of wondering who the fuck this person is. There's no way this is the real person. He just stole the name.
If you done got yourself in a.
By the way,
a
if you
mess
wonder
now.
what happened a second ago when I said son of a bitch, fat ass here charged and rammed into my fucking ribs with his paws.
Oh, goodness.
70 pounds of pure muscle in my ribs. He got excited. He was chasing the cat. Ugh.
That's what you got going, man.
I'm sorry, you guys haven't heard him barking. What you doing, dummy? What you doing, dummy? Come here. Come here. Oh, come here.
This is what happens when you get a bard and a paladin together.
Without anyone to control either one of us.
Ooh.
We need a third person, Nelson. We've got to recruit a third person.
He has well, there is a third person. He happened to not show up. I mean, I can't control that.
Nope. I felt bad about last week, but dude, I was in the middle of taking care of a bunch of shit I had to take care of.
But yeah, this has sort of been unfolding since the last game. Because, you know, this Sir Roland character, he's on that road to fanaticism.
That's good, though. He's a fanatic. And if you haven't guessed yet, my alignment is totally neutral.
Sitting there cleaning your loot while blood is being shed.
Indeed.
You sound kind of psychotic as well.
Maybe. I'll be right back.
And as one returns, the other leaves.
I'm actually still within earshot, Nelson. I'm just looking at the fridge.
So Roland the heretic. Roland the fanatic, sorry.
Sir Roland is definitely not a heretic. He is loyal to the church.
Hey, it depends on which church you're talking about.
Move, fat ass, move.
Now, you remember why you're here, right?
Apparently not.
I just got to do a quick recap. We got like another minute left, so a quick recap. You remember why you're here, right, Sir Roland?
We're getting the artifact, yeah.
Several parties were sent to several locations to find an artifact. The artifact was believed to be a sword that would give a paladin access to all of his divine powers, the strength to slay the rising undead. This undead tide from your homelands to the north.
Are you trying to tell me that I've been doing it wrong? That the werewolf guy, he's a good guy, and he would technically help me to get the sword?
I'm only saying a recap of why you're here. You said that you want to start a crusade. I'm trying to recap to let you know that they don't have soldiers to crusade anywhere.
You see, that's the great thing. That's what you say, you know, because that's okay. That's cool.
I'm just saying Roland should know that. Like, he's smart enough to know that most of all all the people they have that can fight are trying to stem back the tide of this undead. And what little they could spare was sent out in search of this artifact.
The thing is that if you want to tell me that the werewolf guy is a good guy, then the thing is that it's simply because the hints he was giving, and it's always a bad guy and everything. You know, he's not human. You know. I mean,
I'm not saying anything about the werewolf. That's your conclusion. I'm just giving you knowledge.
Well, a shapeshifter, whatever he is. I'm not even sure what he is. I'm just playing my character, and my character at this point distrustful of people.
No,
Where
no.
not only is the character like he wouldn't attack anybody who was not just
I'm fine with your
non-believer.
character, Sean. I'm completely
Okay.
fine with the character. I'm completely fine with the actions in which you took.
I was more
I'm not trying
joking
to say.
with the Crusade. I was a little bit joking. I was more
Oh,
joking
okay.
with the Crusade.
I was just, you were talking about a crusade. I'm just, I didn't know you were joking. I'm like, damn, you don't have enough soldiers to start a fucking crusade, because that's like fighting a war on two fronts, and you don't want to do that.
But okay, that's the thing is though, like all we know is that the undead are coming, and for me, like at this point,
No,
anything
the
that is
undead
not,
are there. You're fighting them.
yeah. So for a character, especially a character like that,
Stop. Yeah,
then you're facing another supernatural enemy. He will not He will not trust the enemy or the creature. Especially if they're saying, "Oh, we're worshiping the sun."
Mhm.
And it's established they're not following the thing. So I'm like, So I'm as I said, I'm playing out the character.
No, I'm fine with that. I'm not trying to say you're playing badly or anything.
I'm
I don't know if that's what you're
I'm
getting at.
guessing. I guessed a long time ago that they want to maybe possibly help us. But that's why I semi regretted playing a paladin, because paladins. I'm not saying you have to play them in that way. You can play them in different ways.
Mhm.
But the way how I constructed this character is just the way how he's going right now,
It's fine.
and it's just how it is. So, like, if I play a rogue or anything else, pretty much, it's like a very different thing. So
Yeah, it's cool. But with that said, let's continue.
the Crusade was more of a joke, really. So
I didn't realize that the crusade was a joke.
yeah.
That's the only thing I had to comment on.
Okay. Maybe we could say that Sir Roland was getting way ahead of himself. Maybe he's getting a little bit cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So.
Yeah, almost. All right, cool. So now that you're ready to leave town and you proclaimed a crusade or whatever, and the creature has actually transformed, though there's no audience to see this, he does leave a blood trail behind him as he's bleeding profusely from his head in several places, I might add. What is Teletheril and Sir Roland doing?
Well, my first reaction is let's get the fuck out of Dodge and get away from the crime scene, because we just violently assaulted somebody that nobody saw. He was a werewolf. So
If anybody can be accused of a crime, then it's him.
I'm gonna give Roland a dirty stare and remind him that nobody saw this guy in the form of a werewolf. Therefore, all they saw was us assaulting an old man.
I, as a paladin, am a man of the law, and I've been chosen. I will agree with you that they will probably not accept this. We're in foreign lands, so they will not accept my thing, my status. So yeah, as you say, so in such Basilang, common language, we'll get the fuck out of Dodge, and we'll go.
So you guys are escaping the town, as it were.
Yep.
All right, cool. So you leave the town, you go into the forest, correct?
I continue to try to search for the artifact.
For the artifact? Okay. It's not fairly, it's not that far. It's not like days and days of travel. But you go through the forest, and you're starting to notice that the path that you're walking is actually a path. It's a dirt path, and the trees, the cover that they were providing you is gone. You actually exit the canopy. Though there are still tree trunks that seem to be, there seem to be no branches. It seems to have little in the way of foliage anywhere on the trees or on the floor. And there are these like large piles of dirt and old sort of overturned soil and grime at the base of each of these tree trunks.
Okay. I continue on.
I'll continue on when I'm done being assaulted. Come on now.
All right, you just continue on. The pathway starts inclining, and you can see, like in the distance, at the crest of this hill, at the absolute pinnacle, there seems to be a large old mansion surrounded by a gate. And
So,
again, there's no canopy. There seems to be like, you seem to still be in a forest, because there's tree trunks everywhere. There's like a trunk every yard or so, except they don't seem to have any trees. They don't seem to have any branches, any foliage, and every tree trunk is rather smooth, and there's almost no grass on the floor.
well, if
And this is a clear path.
Cthulhu have taught me anything, it's that we torch this bitch from the outside.
We won't torch anything before we know what is in there.
So you guys continue walking up the hill?
Yes.
So you continue walking up, and there's before you get to this mansion, there is a set of like black wrought iron gates.
Okay.
You push through, or what are you guys doing?
I open the gates.
Okay, they open up. It's a little bit of resistance as they're heavy, and you just hear as you push into them. And you cross over and head to the actual mansion. What are you gentlemen doing when you get to the actual mansion?
Well, I go to the door and I'll knock.
Damn, it took my giant dough from me.
You can knock, but there's no one answers, and you hear nothing. This mansion, it's old. It's very dilapidated.
I kick in the door.
I was gonna say I tried the door handle.
I kick in the door forcefully.
Okay, so because of lack of description in the moves, do a defy danger, but with your strength.
What is lack of description? I kick in the door.
No.
Like
as far as moves,
okay, I
it's
do
like a
description.
strength check, but the only.
Okay.
move I can think of-
I'm rolling. Okay, so I rolled a 8 plus strength, right? So that's a 9.
An 8 plus strength. So you
Yeah.
succeed. You succeed at a cost. So take a point of damage. As you twist your ankle a bit as you kick in the door.
Okay, my first damage.
All right. So you take a point of damage. The door, flies open. It doesn't unhinge anywhere. There's a large double door because I didn't get a chance to describe the mansion. Because you kicked in that door straight away. It's an old, dilapidated mansion, right? There's a double door in the front. There seems to be a sign above this double door, and the doors are actually carved and engraved with an elaborate design that now has a large boot print on it, apparently. And you kick in the door, and as you kick in the door, it's kind of dark, but it seems to be lightly lit on the inside.
Are we talking
Well,
natural light?
Yeah, both said stuff at the same time. I don't know what happened.
Natural light. Ask if there's natural light or if this is artificial light.
It seems to be. Wait, natural light or artificial light?
Is it coming from like the sunshine or is it coming from lamps?
Well, it's still about midday, but it doesn't look midday inside unless you go inside and look for any light sources. it's just very dim inside. Looks almost like it would at twilight, you know, like the rising sun.
Okay. No, twilight would be setting sun. Dawn. This.
Well, you know, dawn, the shift between night and day.
Yeah.
Whether the rising or setting.
Yeah. Okay. I got you. Technicalities.
So first, I want to know what, after kicking in the door, Sir Roland is just going to charge straight into this this mansion.
I never said that.
Okay, so you kicked in the door.
I pull out my sword and I look around. How dark is it?
You can see, but like I said, it's about an equivalent amount of light as to when the day shifts from night to day, you know?
Is there some kind of a table or chair or some sort?
Just from peeking your head in?
I'm peeking my head in, yes. I take a step into the house.
All right. There's sort of like an entryway, like
Yep.
a foyer, if you know, as you speak. There's another set of ornate doors on the other side, and there's mosaics on the floor, like a large mosaic covering the entire floor.
Mm-hmm.
If
Okay.
if you're examining this stuff and investigating this stuff,
Okay, can I hack the door that I had into, like, where I can make them into torches?
the door you kicked open,
Ow!
Mm-hmm.
you can swing at it, but it shows no damage.
That's a shitty sword I have, apparently, so...
Well,
okay.
it's also a shattered sword.
We are in the woods, on the other hand, so I'm gonna look for a nice thick tree branch.
That's
Remember,
actually not a bad
there were
idea.
no tree branches on these trees that led up.
I know there's stumps, but there's got to be something that we can use to make a makeshift torch.
There's vines growing on the outside of the mansion.
We could use them as long as they're dry.
So you go and you grab some vines.
Are you
I got a short
hand the
sword. I can
vines
cut them
and-
free.
Okay. And I look at Telotherel. If you can make torches out of that, that would be great.
You could light them on fire. I don't know what do you have to actually use as a handle, but yeah, you could light
Well,
them. On fire.
there's a goddamn door that we could hack, but apparently my sword, because it's broken, is now basically like a stick at this
I
point.
could try my sword and see what happens. It'd be kind of funny to watch.
Do you go inside, or what do you do now? Like you're outside grabbing vines.
I'm waiting. I'm inside in the
Roland
foyer, and I'm
Roland
waiting.
is inside trying to stand
Coming
at the door.
inside. I went to go see if I could find something to make torches out of, find the vines. I'm going to go inside with these vines and just kind of drop them on the floor. We're going to light at least one of them on fire to see if we can get better light.
All right, cool. So when you go inside, the door closes behind you.
Okay.
Of course.
But by all by its lonesome.
I told you.
And now you're just in the foyer. Double doors that you walk through, and then there's double doors in front of you. And a
More
mosaic on the floor.
witchcraft. More witchcraft. That is just great. I tried to kick the outside door out again.
Yeah, this time you don't have to roll because it doesn't budge.
So I'm going to lean over to Roland and say, it looks like we have one way out of this house. We're going to have to go through it.
You alright? When you're alright, you're alright.
So you just start walking?
Yep.
Well, I start walking in front in the dark, I guess. Alone.
No,
Well, not.
you can see, but
Okay.
it's not like brightly lit.
Okay, that's
You know,
fine.
Like if
It's not-
you've ever walked outside where there's no trees or no obstruction, either in the morning or just when it's turning night, you have that weird sort of soft lighting around you. That's about the lighting that you have.
Okay.
There are, of course, cast shadows that make darker areas, but
You're saying they're casting shadows?
no.
Hey, Nelson,
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead, if I can. I want to rack my brain and discern reality,
Okay, so give me a discern reality check.
which is plus wisdom, so... I got a 9, so I get to ask you one question.
Wisdom is not my strong suit. I got an 8 in that.
So I get one question. What here is not what it appears to be is going to be the question, and then for the description on what's going on, as we're kind of standing in this foyer, I'm looking around and I'm trying to see if anything in this area is clearly out of place. As I'm kind of straining my eyes from the weak light we have.
Everything seems to be in place. There's, you know, it's just ornate. It's very beautiful. But you noticed that the outside of this mansion was old, dilapidated, and just looked like it was uncared for. Like if there was a groundskeeper, he was one groundskeeper and couldn't keep up with the maintenance of the outside. However, the inside is immaculate. The dirtiest thing inside is the two of you.
Is there any like on the walls? Is there any like swords or weapons of any sort, or shields?
No, there's no like coat of arms looking shields. There's
no
simply
and no armors either, right?
no. It's a simple cubicle area with an ornate mosaic on the floor.
What is on what does the mosaic depict? Is there any kind of depiction of some sort? Or is this abstract or what?
Well, yeah, there's a depiction. After checking it out, well, first the discern realities thing is that what was the question?
Double check. I gotta make sure I read it right. What here is not what it appears to be.
Okay, what here is not what it appears to be. This mansion doesn't appear to be the mansion that you saw outside.
Okay.
It's obviously grossly different from what you can see so far.
Well, I'm going to communicate that to Roland by making mention that this looks like it's too new to be the house we saw from the outside.
And the depiction of the mosaic.
Great, more witchcraft.
Yeah, the depiction of the mosaic is of a dragon with its tail wrapped around its neck.
Well, that's a great symbol. Okay, I look around. How many exits do we have other than the one that we entered?
One. There's just one double door leading in.
Okay, so there's no other doors or steps or anything that we can exit. So I'm like, this mansion looked bigger. There should be other doors or steps, as you said. So this is not the same mansion.
Nope. No way. This is the same mansion. It's like we've been transported to another location.
I will. Can I do discern reality on the dragon mosaic to see what I would like to know? What I would like to do is some kind of history check or something, or like some kind of.
Roll a discern realities, and let's see what you get to see if you can ask any questions.
So do I add intelligence?
Discern realities is a wisdom roll.
Okay, then I actually take one off because I have 8 in wisdom, so
okay.
-1. So I rolled a 4, so I have a total of 3.
So you can mark off a point of experience as you're investigating.
I'm down to 2 experience. That's great. From 4 to 2.
No. Mark. You gain experience. You don't take it off.
Me smash.
Look. Sean, you're gaining experience when you fail. You're not taking it off.
Wait, so I'm gaining it, okay.
Yeah. When I say mark off, I just mean, make a mark as you're gaining experience. If there's
mark off. So I'm now at a 6 now, then.
Yes.
Okay.
One more point of experience.
Apologies.
Next time you rest, you can actually level up.
Okay, I misunderstood. Apologies. Mark off, sorry. So it sounded like it. But I'm still
Yeah, you're like, I don't know what's going on here. That mosaic is pretty.
What is all these little stones? What are they mean? What do they mean?
Well, no time like the present. I'm going to go through the doorway in front of us while he's getting himself, entranced by this ridiculous mosaic.
The doorway opens really easily. Doesn't even creak. Just whoop. You can see in the distance it seems to be a long hall with several like large basins lining the halls. There's like on either side of each basin, there's like a basin that looks like a bit of a fountain, almost large enough to fit a human being. Before it is an armored figure. After it is an armored figure, and then another basin, and then another armored figure, and another basin, and then another armored figure, until it gets a little bit too hard to see beyond that, and you can hear almost the splashing of water, a faint splashing of water in the distance.
Is there any exit to our left or right at all?
No, it just goes straight.
Okay. So I'm going to call back to Roland and see what he wants to do here.
Well, I look in and I see it. I'm like obviously confused. I'm like, what in the name of the divines is going on?
And I'm just kind of looking at him. That would be. I want to see here real quick. There's a move here that I know I can use. Would I be able to use Defy Danger to see if I can figure out what would be causing this? What kind of magic might be causing this?
No.
Okay, not sure. I don't know.
How would you defy danger to do that?
Well, if he knows what we can defy, what kind of danger we can defy.
Yeah, when you act despite an imminent threat, I wasn't sure if this would constitute an imminent threat or not.
Not at the moment.
Okay, that's why I asked.
Everything is fairly calm.
Okay.
Like I said, you just see a long hall that, it goes beyond what you can see, like your eyes are straining.
Yeah.
And you see like a water basin on either side of the hall. An armored figure, water basin, armored figure, water basin, armored figure, water basin. It fades off into nothingness, and you hear in that distance the sound of like splashing water.
I found what I really want to do instead of Defy Danger, dummy. This is my lack of knowledge of the moves.
Okay.
Spout lore. When you consult your accumulated knowledge about something, roll plus int. On 10 plus, the GM will tell you something interesting. On 7 to 9, the GM will only tell you something interesting. It's on you to how to make it useful. So that's what I was looking for. Basically, rack my brain and see if I can figure something out about this. Why there's no turnoffs? Why we're hearing noises but we don't see anything?
So roll your thing. You can't ask questions. This is Spout lore, not discern realities. So
I know. I'm telling you kind of what I'm trying to rack my brain for.
It doesn't really matter. It's my option to tell you something useful or something interesting that you have to make useful.
I have a question. So basically,
I just made a 9. Well, no, actually, yeah, I made a 9. So yeah, you do. You get to tell me something that's interesting. I have to find out if it's useful.
So we see like how wide is how wide is the corridor?
How wide is this corridor? About 30 feet.
30 feet, and we have the basin. So the basin
from the tip of one basin to the other. It's about
there's
30
two
feet
basins.
of free movement.
So basins with water in them?
Yeah, they appear to have water in them.
And then in the middle is the statue, right?
No. Not in the middle of the hall. Between there's like an armored figure, a basin, and then an armored figure. So between the basins against the wall.
So on both sides, so there's 2 rows of armors with the basins.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it seems to go on into ad nauseum, like infinity.
Right now, yeah, it goes on beyond your sight.
Yeah.
Okay. I start praying to the gods because I am kind of overwhelmed with this situation. My character is overwhelmed.
And the interesting knowledge.
He's starting to pray to the god of. Do we have a god of death yet? No.
I don't know. You can think of it, but let me pause and actually tell Ethereal what he learns from his Spout lore roll.
Okay, yeah. Sorry.
Which the interesting knowledge that you have to make use of is that the way this is laid out seems to be very much like a cathedral, like a place of worship.
Okay. So I'm going to kind of pocket that for now, not mention it, but it's definitely going to be in the back of my head now. I got to figure out how that's useful.
Well, I'm gonna kneel down and I'm gonna pray to Zora, Xora, the goddess of death.
Xora. Zora?
Yep, she's the one who takes the candle and blows out the candle of all humans, and she's also a symbol of the finite nature. And because I pray to her to lead me through this to the end of this madness, so to speak, if there is madness to be had, you know. So I start doing my prayer. I say, Zora, please lead me to the end of this hall, and if it doesn't end, then give me an ending worthy of the gods.
All right. So what does your prayer do again?
It's just fluff. It's just fluff
Okay.
at this point. I don't have a prayer move. It's fluff. It's pure role playing at this point.
Hey, Nelson, good sir.
I have lay on hands, so.
I just hit something on my race that again, this is me not being familiar with this game, so I have to kind of familiarize myself. Whenever I enter an important location, which I guess this is an important location, I can ask you for one fact from the history of the location.
Okay, whenever you enter an important location, one fact about the history of the location is you've heard a story, right, about the House of the Sun. This weird religion. One of the reasons you came with the party initially is because of this fact that every 20 odd years, the town gathers together several maidens, and the maidens are of a specific age and type. You can choose which. They gather several maidens and send them into the woods so that they could serve at the House of the Sun.
Okay. Works for me. So basically, we didn't walk into a mansion. We walked into a church, and we didn't know it. Okay. This is interesting.
And Roland, as you're praying, you can hear your heartbeat in your chest, and your heart is beating, but instead of you can hear dum, ting, ting, and you can hear the sound of a hammer hitting an anvil. And as you can hear this hammer hitting an anvil, you get the thought of Amos, your god, and you could feel yourself almost embraced very slightly, like caressed with just a finger of the divine, and you see smoke surrounding you. And then the smoke, as it surrounds you, it seems to wave off down the hall and dissipate.
Apparently Nelson Rocky wanted to roleplay too today.
Yeah.
Stop it.
He's role-playing the werewolf. That's what we saw.
Oh,
So what do you gentlemen do?
I'm going to slowly keep walking forward, and knowing what I know about the history of the place, I'm going to be on the lookout for maidens.
All right. You didn't see the smoke, however, Telepharo. Only Roland.
That's fine. I'm fine with that. I'm more focused on the lore of the place anyway, so I'm going to start looking for maidens, particularly since you said I can kind of make up the age race. They're going to be combined mostly of humans, since it seems these people have very high levels of mistrust for other races.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all going to be roughly of flowering age, which means somewhere between about 12 and 14.
All right. Oh, okay. Here's the fact that you would have known, but I forgot to tell you. Is the actual wording is they send a group of 7, not several, 7 maidens to serve in the House of the Sun, of course, every 20 years, like I said,
Yep.
to serve in the glory of the house and ascend into heavenly grace.
Okay. Like I said, at this point, I'm going to see if any of them are actually still here, though, because I know they're supposed to be here, or they're rumored to be here.
Mhm.
I don't buy the whole they ascend into heavenly grace nonsense. I'm a
You said
baller.
the ages were 12 to 14?
Yeah, somewhere between ages 12 and 14.
12 to 14. Are there any... Is there a physical requirement?
No, although they prefer their maidens to be less than comely. They can't be comely. They have to be very somewhat attractive.
Okay.
That's not really a requirement so much as a want. Because once the sun god kind of chooses them, I don't think they really get a choice who to send, do they?
All right. So you're walking forward. What is Roland doing as well?
Stop it! Stop chewing on my desk. Oh, animal, look at your toy.
You look like you're talking, but I can't hear you.
We can't hear you, Sean.
I had the mute button on. Sorry. So.
Right.
So Roland has a newfound faith in a sense. So he just starts walking really fast forward.
Yeah, the two of you are walking forward, and the sound of this splashing water, this disturbance in this liquid disturbance, as it were, you walk forward, and as you go down the hall, the rest of the hall becomes more and more visible. You can see that in the distance, there is a red-robed figure wearing what appears to be a golden mask, holding on to some white cloth, and there's another figure in the distance inside one of these water basins that looks to be female and bathing. Now you can continue to walk, but that's what just comes into view in the distance.
Okay, well, I get close enough so the red robed figure can see me and hear me, and I just my sword is sheathed and everything, so I yell. I not yell him. I say in a strong voice, "Who are you? And what is this place?"
The red-robed figure turns to look at you. You can see clearly that the golden mask is reptilian at first, since you're not right up in his face. You can tell that it's reptilian. It has a snout, and then he turns back to look at the person bathing, and you get the profile as well. So it does look reptilian in nature, but the figure, the red-robed figure, does not answer you. The one in the basin bathing turns, and of course it's a woman. She's naked, and she's just picking up water and putting it on herself. You hear her muttering, not incoherently, but you can't make sense of what she's saying from the distance that you are. And a moment later, she raises her voice and says, "Welcome."
Okay.
I don't know if Teleferal is anywhere.
I'm still walking forward. I'm not sure how far ahead of me he is.
Well, he said he was walking forward with determination. So
yeah. So he's probably a little bit ahead of me. So does he stop when he sees this at all?
I said I stopped.
Okay. Then I'm going to see him stop, and I'm going to pull up just right behind him. So I'm guessing I'm seeing all of this as well. The red-robed figure, kind of reptilian.
Yeah, the red-robed figure, you can't tell if he's reptilian or not, but the golden mask in which that figure wears is reptilian in nature.
Okay. Is it clear if this is a guy or a chick? I mean, is it or the robe's kind of like one of those flowing, make them ambiguous kind of things?
You can't tell at this distance.
Okay. I'm going to lean over to Sir Roland and whisper into his ear, "We should proceed with caution. We don't know what to expect here."
And I look at the bard and I said, "You want to do the talking? Feel free."
I might as well, and I'm going to kind of take the lead, and I'm going to walk up very, very slowly towards this figure, exceedingly patiently.
As you're slowly making your way again. The woman, the red-robed figure with the golden mask, says nothing.
Okay.
The woman stands up out of this basin, the water dripping off of her naked body. She steps forward, and the red-robed figure hands her the white cloth, which is apparently a white robe. She puts the white robe on.
Okay.
And of course, it clings to her body, so you can obviously tell she is still a woman.
Yeah.
And she just says, "Welcome, welcome. I see you have come to serve in the house of our Lord."
Okay. Well, I'm going to be charming and open, so I'm gonna speak frankly here, which would be kind of fun. And we're gonna see what happens. I'm gonna clear my throat. And I'm going to see what happens, and I'll tell you what my question is, depending on how I stammer over myself this time. 6. Woohoo! I got an 8! Which means, hang on a second. Yeah, as long as I succeed, I get to ask a question. They have to answer it truthfully.
Okay.
Hang on a second, Gummy. I'm gonna blatantly ask them. The question is gonna be, "Whom do you serve?" But I'm gonna phrase it a little bit differently. I'm gonna ask her, after clearing my throat, "Who is this glorious master that you serve? For we wish to serve him as well."
He is the master of this house, the master of this realm, and the master of all surrounding lands. He is the Son, greater than the Father, and he leads us into our eternal life.
Wow.
That's the truth.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that's the truth. So I look back at Roland and kind of give him a quizzical look and ask him if, like, one that says, "Is this normal for these crazy sun worshippers?" kind of thing.
Oh, Roland has this kind of expression of like at this point he's like almost expected this,
Did Roland walk up closer as well, or did you stop where you were?
Well, I came behind him. I kept some distance, but the idea is that I have this expression of that, like they are in the advantage, and where in the other time we could get away. In this point, I'm not gonna really say anything because they're clearly talking heretical stuff, and I don't wanna like really get involved. So.
All right. Well, at the very least, now that you're closer, you can tell that this golden mask, is indeed reptilian, but it looks to be what the two of you would know as dragons. And on this figure's red robes is. Do you know what a double-barred cross looks like?
Not really.
Well, you know what a crucifix looks like, right?
Yes.
Well, imagine a crucifix with a slightly smaller horizontal cross above the normal.
Yeah, I know that one.
Okay, so you see that he has a double-barred cross that's white on the red robes, and the woman, even though it's clinging to her body, seems to have the same, but her robes are white with a red double-barred cross.
Interesting. And I have to ask this question at this point now to them without really trying to pry it too much. I asked them if this is some form of a church. If the building itself is some form of a church.
Oh, of course, this is our Lord's realm, the church of the Son, his home.
I asked them if they can direct me to where he's located.
Oh, yes, yes. You have come to serve, and serve you shall. Worship at his feet. Follow me. And she actually she turns and she starts walking, and and you can see this is she looks, at least to the bard, quite erotic in this soft lighting. The robes clinging to her wet body. She turns her upper body to look at you and motions you to follow her very very calmly. The red robe figure simply just turns and walks away following this woman by her side.
I'm actually going to grab hold of Roland and kind of pull him forward and make sure he's coming with me. I don't want to do this alone. Ah!
Okay. Yeah. Well, I will. I will take his hand off of me and I will follow. Not as impressed.
So as you follow down, the hole becomes more and more visible, and you see at the ends of the hole there are two cross sections. There are two holes on either side. In the center of the hole is a large statue. The statue is of a dragon with its tail coiling around and reaching around its neck. Behind that statue of a dragon is another statue of a large double-barred cross that reaches from the floor to ceiling. Slightly further behind that is another two holes on either side of the wall.
Nice. Where is she leading us?
She leads you to the statue,
Okay.
and both her and the red-robed figure kneel before this statue and start. I don't know what like the English or American word for it is, but you know, kowtowing.
Yeah.
Kneeling on their knees and you know, bowing before their body bent completely towards the floor.
That's better terms, prostrating.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Do either Teleferal or Roland do anything at this point?
Well, I will not. I will not bow to anything that is not from the Pantheon. I will not start throwing like doing anything to fight this because even I can see I'm at a complete disadvantage and I'm complete alienated. I don't know what's going on, so I'm just gonna wait and see what's happening.
I'm not about to prostrate myself in front of a statue. I already don't believe all this mumbo jumbo, anyways. So.
Yeah. So you know, they bow down. They start praying to this icon. They stand, and as she stands, she reaches forward towards the statue, and she has a red robe in her hand. And the red-robed figure turns around, and he also has a red robe in his hand. And the woman says, "Please, disrobe," and she motions to the last pair of basins that stop before these statues. "Wash yourselves of your sins. Become clean, so that you may ascend to your heavenly glory and meet our Lord."
At this point, Tilla's really not sure what to think here. He's kind of wigged out by the fact that this lady...
I take the robe, and I'm at this point where I cannot continue the charade, and I'm just like, oh, you know what? I don't even accept the robe at first. I just push back and I say, "I'm clean of my sins. I've been cleansed by the Pantheon. I've been cleansed by Amos himself."
This might be the time for me to get behind Roland and shove him into the red-robed figure.
Unless Roland voluntarily flies himself into the red-robed figure, I think that would call for a defy danger.
I think so too. It actually,
Roland might not. You know, I don't know how Roland's gonna react.
Or better yet, my question is, could I make that a dex thing, where I actually like trip him and shove him over like a foot that's between his legs?
Well, Roland, as your compatriot seems to want to trip you, how do you react?
I just basically I want to do a non-lethal move where I just kind of like just shove him to the side.
All right, so I guess because Teleferal is initiating this, Teleferal, please roll a defy danger.
Dex or strength?
Well, your dex bonus minus by Roland's strength bonus.
So I think I'm even odd on here. So I got a 9. So
Roland, you stumble closer to the red-robed figure, and Teletheril, you stumble closer to the basin, to the point where your back sort of hits the basin. It doesn't cause any damage, but you're steadying yourself by the basin. Roland, you stumble not into the red-robed figure, but you're a breath away from him, close enough to where if you were to just lift up your hands, you could drop the rope in them. And
Okay.
he doesn't budge, he doesn't twitch, he doesn't pull back, nothing. He just stands there, almost as stiff as a board, awaiting for you to disrobe.
I was not exactly subtle about this, and he didn't twitch.
Yeah, and the women, boys, please.
I'm not a boy. I'm a
This
man.
violence is unnecessary.
No violence has been done to you, maximum to me. I will not accept this. I vowed to the gods, and I vowed to Amos to never accept any other gods before them.
She nods. It's quite unfortunate, for it is by our Lord's will do we live and die.
That is what you think. And then another point. Obviously, you are in control here of everything, of this area, of this place. And but I will still not accept this because this is not what I've been taught.
The woman giggles.
I came for an artifact.
The woman giggles at the fact that once you say you are obviously in control, she giggles, shakes her head.
I said I'm obviously not in control. That's what I said.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, maybe it didn't came over right. Sorry.
Okay.
No.
Well, yes, none of us are in control. We simply are here to serve. It is what we do.
All I'm saying is that I'm not in control because obviously you or your witchcraft is somehow manipulating this area we're in.
Witchcraft? I have no such witchcraft.
Magic, dark forces, whatever you want to call it.
Well, since you believe yourself to be clean and yet carry the burden of your sins upon you, and again she motions towards you and looks you up and down.
I have been cleansed, and I wear the burdens of my sins every day. I've been cleansed by the grace of Amos and the Pantheon.
And she turns to Teletheril. Teletheril, you still there?
He has to go. He had to go for something. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Didn't figure you want me pissing in front of the camera there.
Sorry, bro.
What were you saying?
She said something to Roland about him wearing the burden of his sins and not wanting to unburden himself. She then turns to Teletheril, who is right by the basin, and addresses Teletheril. I see that you wish to unburden yourself, but you hesitate, my young elven friend. Why do you hesitate to cleanse yourself of your sins?
I kind of scoff at that and tell her sin is a controlling interest made by the church to control weak-minded fools.
So you think you think us, and then she motions to herself, the red robe figure, and Roland. You think us fools for serving higher powers.
And I just kind of scoff again.
I go to Teletheril. I might not agree with his methods, but I don't agree with yours especially, since you don't follow the Pantheon. You might serve some kind of higher power. I don't know. But I do know that the power that I serve is the only one that is the strongest and that will outlast this.
So the woman walks towards Teletheril, who's still at this basin. The red-robed figure is behind her. She hands him the second set of red robes and goes to Teletherol. She caresses him at the cheek, stares deeply into his eyes, and simply says, "Please, there is no reason you should burden yourself with your sins. Unburden yourself and wash yourself to become clean so that you may worship at the feet of our Lord." Teletherol, would you please be kind enough to defy danger using wisdom?
Wisdom? Okay, let's see what happens here. Oh, God, don't let me get... Woohoo! 9!
A 9?
Yep.
All right, let's see.
I think that's
I think
what the cost,
something-
isn't it?
Something happens. A worse outcome, a hard bargain, or an ugly choice. So you can you don't have to strip naked and wash yourself.
Mhm.
However, you do feel weighed down. You feel like your clothing is weighing you down and making it extraordinarily difficult to move.
I take the sword out and I put it in front of my face, and I will kneel down and I start praying to Amos for guidance and protection, because I feel that I'm attacked by forces that are against me, and that I feel that I'm searching for guidance, I'm searching for protection, and that if I have to die, I will die in glorious in glorious service to him.
Okay.
And that I'm not afraid.
Well, as I begin to feel the weight of this come down on me, I'm actually going to begin weaving a tale together of a young man who was attempted to be forced to do something he didn't want to do. And as I do that, it's actually going to be an arcane art, and I'm going to attempt to remove the enchantment from myself.
Okay.
So let's hope I get 7+. I got a 9. So, but that is with a cost. My cost is I either draw unwanted attention or reverberates to people other than myself. Your choice.
Reverberate?
Also,
Yeah. Means it affects other people.
1 second. If it is an enchantment, I'm invulnerable to it. Invulnerability to enchantment.
I remember that you are invulnerable to enchantments for as long as you
fair
are
enough.
on your quest.
Okay, that's good. Okay.
That's
I'm
why
on
there
my
was no
quest.
defy danger roll when she mentioned about you, unburdening yourself.
Fair enough. I continue to pray.
Either way, Nelson, it can either be noticed by a higher, like somebody else, or you can have it like affect other people in the room, as well as me.
So you no longer feel like your clothes are weighing down on you. You have just about as much as attention as you can think of right now.
Yeah.
And it would affect Roland, but Roland is actually immune. You may not know this, but So as far as you know, just the clothes seem to not be so much of a burden anymore. They seem to have returned to their normal weight.
Give me a
And
second.
she's still standing there before you.
Nelson, keep going because I can still hear you. I'm gonna go turn my heater on or make sure it's up enough because it's like gotta be 50 fucking degrees in this room.
Oh, dang. All right. So yes, she's standing there before you, waiting for you to unburden yourself and step into the basin. And as you actually have to tell this story, right?
Yeah.
All right. Do you actually want to tell a story? What story do you tell? What words do you say, which helps you to remove this effect on you?
I tell of a young elven prince who was captured by a dryad. That's what the term I'm thinking of. Sorry, by a dryad, and she was attempting to seduce him, and his immortal willpower allowed him to escape and reconnect with the love of his life, his princess from an opposing tribe, and they forever got married and forever lived happily ever after, because that's how all those fucking stories have to go.
Okay. She smirks, says, "So, am I the dryad and you the prince?"
I look at her and say, "You're not nearly pretty enough to be a dryad."
You know, she sort of plays with your hair and strokes it backward. She goes, I see. Walking back to this statue of this dragon.
Mhm.
She again turns her back on you, walks to the statue, and to you, because you are what you are, you just denote how it's almost like she's dancing before you. The cloth on her skin, just clinging tightly, accentuating her form. Before she turns around with the red-robed figure, holding these two red cloths in his hands. And she simply says, because you do not wish to unburden yourselves, you do not wish or feel as if you are already clean, and will not take the hospitality and blessings of our Lord. It is your choice, and as it is your choice, please. And she parts her hands away, motioning towards the four halls, two on either side, for you to choose your direction.
I will go on the very right, and I will look at her quickly, and I said, I never had a choice. I am in the service of Amos and the Pantheon. I cannot be in service of some other god, so that's why I cannot accept his blessing or presence.
Okay, so there's two halls to the right. There's the first and the second.
On the very right, I mean, so the second.
Okay, that's the one a little further in. Teleferro, what is Teleferro doing?
So she's offering us the 4 halls on the right.
There's two on the right,
Oh.
two on the left.
4
There's
halls.
two that are closer to you and two that are behind the statue, further away. Roland went to the second hall on the right, behind the statue.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and assume that Roland knows something I don't know. I'm going to follow him because I'm not brave enough to do this on my own.
Yeah, okay, and as you follow Roland behind him, Roland, please describe the scene as you walk out into the battlefield of your homeland in the north.
There is a you can see people. They have so my homeland. You have people. I've been actually raised in another country because I've been raised. I went to another country after my homeland was defeated. So you can see the people of my homeland. On most of them are either slaughtered or you can see corpses on horses and some riding away from another horse from another army, and they are wielding like composite bows, bone-style bows. They have light leather armor, and they have like saber-type weapons and spears. But most of them are either like dead on the floor. Some of them are still fighting, but most of them are running away from a superior army. And the superior army is wearing plate mail, and most of them are standing behind, and they're actually wielding a new kind of weapon that only recently this kind of army, which is actually a different nation, which has only designated itself as the Empire, and the Empire has been always against it. They have a different form of religion. They believe their emperor is an avatar, a god come to Earth, and they believe in a monotheistic religion. And their goal is to be very exponential and to take over other countries, obviously, and spread their religion and their thought and their land, of course. And they're actually using early black powder cannons and shooting it at the at the people where I come from originally, and you can see I suddenly am. I don't look like I used to. For a quick moment, I look like my younger self, with a beard and in the typical garb of mine, the warrior garb, with the helm, in a standing saddle, in a black horse with a silver mane, and one of the cannonballs hit the horse that I called Black Shadow, Black Lightning. That's what I called it. Dies next to me, and the only reason I survived is because most of the brunt of the force was taken by the horse, and I'm on the ground. But then it's like obviously that I'm again in my form now, because I've been taken in by another country who has had the kind of similar beliefs, and who has then raised me and has taught me the ways of the paladin. And but it's like a really traumatic experience for me. So.
All right, so you see Teletherl. You actually walk in time to see this scene, and you see Roland mounted on this black steed, this cannon shot blowing up before him, sending him flying. The steed taking the brunt of this blow. Roland, what's your maximum hit points?
My maximum hit points is 23.
23?
Yeah.
So half of that would be 12.5. So take 12 points of damage from the cannon shot.
Okay.
And you see Roland getting up from the floor, obviously injured. In this moment, no longer seeing the mansion or hall. You're seeing this land with lightly armored people being slaughtered by these heavily armored individuals with these black powder weapons firing cannons across the land. Teletherl, what do you do?
I mean, you mean after I'm pissing myself? Well, the first thing I want to do is I'm going to run up to Roland. And how bad off is Roland looking as far as like from a not just hit point standard? What does he look like? I mean, he just got hit with a cannon blast.
Yeah, he looks haggard. You know, he's injured. He's got bits of himself sort of missing, scarred a piece. He still seems to have the same armor that's blasted, but now it looks like the hole in his armor, that half of his armor, it looks almost as if that's where the cannon did the most of his damage.
Okay.
And he's also covered in bits and blood of the steed he was riding, and dirt that was on the floor.
I'm like half delirious, barely conscious, as the front. You have infantry. Yeah, I see. Not artillery. Crossbowmen with the big shields that are like covering most of their bodies. Crossbowmen aiming and shooting at the people as the cannoneers are reloading the primitive but quite effective cannons. And I am just kind of like crawling back. I'm not even there anymore. I'm just crawling back, and I say, Feketarinlam. So I'm a Black Lightning, and I'm telling this like in a language she doesn't understand. I'm not like there anymore. I'm just like trying. I put my head next to the horse's head, and I'm kind of resting it to it, and yeah. And I have like the burn, charred wounds and shit. So.
Well, as I get up to him, I'm gonna put my hands across like on his back as he's sitting there with his head against the horse, and I'm gonna start singing what sounds like an elvish lullaby. And actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to see if I can heal him.
Oh, you have healing.
I got a 10 on that, so it goes off without any reverberating effect or anything. So he gets 2 hit points back. Woohoo!
Okay, so you get.
I would have lay on hands, but I'm like not here right.
Okay, so you do mark off your healing, and
Right.
your choice of whether you can be able to see this. Roland, Teletherol, you notice this because this is the first time you're seeing this scene. Um, but as the sun begins to set on this scene, just as it starts to dip below the horizon, and the yellows and oranges and reds of this setting sun uh, grow to be the dominating colors in the sky.
Mhm.
Every member of his tribe that was felled begins to rise. The horse begins to move, though in parts. And you notice that the armored figures, from what bits of flesh you can see, they look old and rotted and unliving. And
Dad.
if you choose to see this, Roland, for the first time, something you didn't realize in your youth is that the Empire, their soldiers, never seemed to fall. Every time they fell, they got back up. You thought
Yeah.
maybe it was their armor, but now, in your experience, having fought clearly undead, you notice that these are actually unliving soldiers.
Hmm.
And with that, I think we'll end this session and wait for the last part of House of the Sun.
Okay.
Ooh,
Sounds good.
do we get any additional experience for doing the adventure, or does the only experience in this game come from in-game stuff?
Well, we'll do that now.
Okay.
First, we'll ask, do either of you feel that you resolved any of your bonds?
I definitely did because I got to see the real Roland, for sure. He's not this mythological hero of old. He's this deranged psychopath.
So with that, we'll ask Sean. Do you think that bond with Roland is resolved?
Well, the thing is that I wanted to find this guy and to.
Well, no.
cha-
Do you think his bond with you is
Yeah,
resolved?
it's resolved. He saw my true self. My character self is very different. I'm very much kind of a fish out of water situation, and I'm reacting as I've been trained I'm like trained out of a trauma, like sort of deal,
Okay.
and
Okay. So
and
let's Telethero real quick. Mark off, erase that bond.
Okay.
We'll create new bonds next session or this session if you have an idea. But mark off that bond and take 1 point of experience.
One more. Yay. I'm almost to 11.
Yeah. Going back to Roland. Roland's bond was will show Telethero the true meaning of sacrifice. Do you really feel like if that was resolved yet or not?
I don't think yet. I think what he saw is not necessarily about sacrifice yet, so I wouldn't say yet.
Okay, so we'll move over to the next part, which is alignments. Do you think that anyone's alignment came into play?
I want to say mine is, but I'll leave that to Sean. Sean, I was playing a neutral character.
Yeah, definitely.
So what does it say for your? It actually has a description for your neutral alignment.
Avoid a conflict or diffuse a tense situation. I did that for the most part, up to where I tried to see how those people were going to react by shoving them into him.
I was trying to file lawful good, at least a law based on how my character learned it.
Yeah, I don't think as an individual, you took part in the first conflict by giving him a bonus to his damage.
True.
So you didn't avoid conflict. You didn't avoid that tense situation. And I don't think there was any real conflict with the young lady and this armored figure.
I actually took a situation that was kind of tense because we were both on the edge and made it a little more tense by trying to shove him into her.
Yeah.
That was a little more chaotic.
So I don't think your alignment was resolved this session. Roland, does Roland's alignment? Do you think you did anything according to your alignment?
I think I followed the law of at least how I imagined the pantheon, the religion and the law of my country, or the country.
I'll have to concur with that. Roland definitely was like zealously lawful.
Okay, so you're lawful. Deny mercy to a criminal or unbeliever.
Yeah, that definitely can. He was trying to kill that werewolf, and he refused to.
And this is actually because this is an extension of the last session. I didn't immediately attack him. I asked him multiple times. I have also what's her name had her suspicions that he's not even human, you know. So I didn't went on the first. I waited till I have at least enough proof in my mind. So in my mind, I followed the law.
Well, that he's an unbeliever.
That he's definitely an unbeliever, and he's also a heretical creature. Like he's a
All right, so we'll give you that, so you can mark off a point of experience for your alignment. Right, and then we go to the end of session, which is oddly a move. Here's the questions: did you learn something new and important about the world?
I think I want to say that at least my character learned something new about this sun cult that he wasn't aware of.
Which is what? What do you think?
Well, first of all, I learned they existed, because my character wasn't aware they existed at all. Second, he's very aware that the myth of this house is very true. That there's people that really send 7 people out to this house every 20 years to become, you know, I don't know how to really phrase that, minstrels of the sun god.
Okay, and so you feel that's what you learned about the world. Let's ask if Roland thinks he learned anything, something new and important about this world.
That the sun god and that there's some kind of, in general, the sun cult is more powerful than my character thought would be, and that there is they have some kind of power over this area that we are in at this moment, this temple or whatever this is. Where were we in?
Okay, I'm not going to tell you whether you're correct or incorrect, whether in whole or in part, but you do know that either in whole or in part you are correct, because you're both getting points of experience.
Thank you, yeah.
I only need 2 more.
Did we overcome a notable monster or enemy?
I want to say yes, but at the same time, we didn't quite kill that werewolf. So.
Well, he ran away, but then again, I'm not sure. Honestly, out of character, I don't think he wanted us dead. I think my character, the way how I played him, he semi-panicked and he he went overzealous. Because he wasn't faced with this kind of thing before.
But the question is, did you overcome?
We overcame it because we didn't get injured. We defeated it and it ran away.
Mm-hmm. So I would say,
and he was a monster. Yes. So
I would say the answer is yes.
Yeah. Maybe he didn't want it to hurt us, but.
It says, you know, the question is, did you overcome a notable monster or enemy?
We overcame it, for sure.
So you could both take a point of experience for that. And this is quite obvious, but the final question is, did we loot a memorable treasure?
No, unfortunately, we still have not looted memorable treasures.
You have not looted a memorable treasure. If anything, your gear is slowly becoming useless. All your gear is slowly becoming useless.
You know, it's amazing. The only gear I used was my fucking loot and dining wear.
Yeah, well, you know, you're using fairly useless gear, and all the combat gear Roland has is just being utterly destroyed. One piece.
Useless gear. I shook off an enchantment, and I managed to give him healing, and I managed to give him an increase in damage. I'm gonna kill Nelson. Be careful.
I can help it with some of these Pac-Man, basically, or Iron Biter. You know,
yeah. So, with that said, we'll continue this on next week for part 3, which is going to be the final part. Whether or not the story is resolved, we'll have to find out. But it'll be the final part in the trilogy, in the 3-shot. So 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Thursday. And I really gotta say, I'll talk to you really quick in the post game. We'll just end it here, going from my left to my right. You can introduce yourselves, your names, and any online endeavors in which you would like to plug, starting with Kyle.
My name is Kyle. I run Legacy Game Mastering. We have a YouTube channel, a blog, and a Facebook page. So you can check us out on the blog at legacygameMastering.wordpress.com. YouTube, God help me, I can't tell you the YouTube channel. Just look for Legacy Game Mastering, or you can find it directly through the blog or through the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Legacy Game Mastering. Our big thing right now is we are in the pre-alpha stage of doing Planescape for 5th edition. We're hoping to get that released by the middle of next month for an open alpha, and we've got a kind of a plan for how that's going to look. Hopefully we'll be able to get that done.
Yeah, okay. And I am the Gaming Beast, aka Dorapka, and you can check me out. Just type in Gaming Beast 82 in YouTube, or www.thegamingbeast.com, or www.thenextround.net. You can check me on those sites out. I have a couple of games, and I do RPGs, I do video games, I do all sorts of nerdy stuff. I don't focus on one thing necessarily, but I have a lot of session recordings. The last one that I did was Censar, and hopefully more for this in the near future. So check it out if you wish.
And I am, of course, Nelson, and this is Infinite Roleplay. If you happened on this video accidentally, I do, roleplay videos, gaming vlogs, art, and I'll be doing another episode of Wicked Pearls Mansion using Dungeon World, which is the rules we used for this one, in about an hour and a half. So if you want to come back and watch that, you can. So until then, peace.